Time for some game design. I spent a few minutes yesterday. It didn't take me that long, actually. Just um, downloading the images. It's really as simple as. Actually, I'll do it. I'll do it right now. I think I made a couple of changes that I want to. I'll come back to that. Yeah, so I think after the stream yesterday, I spent a little time. Where was that? Super tiny detail. I think it was. And I made this mod in Tabletop Simulator yesterday. Oh, I think. Oh, yeah, it's this card. This doesn't matter at all, but I'll just show how fast it is to update things. So it was the starting side of the warehouse. So I'm just going to download page 8. Where did it put it? So one thing that I have been a little lazy about is the file management. So I'm gonna replace file management. So a lot of times I'll just I'll download zip files of the same, pretty much the same, like of the same game, a few different times, rather than figure out how to just keep the same folder and keep updating the images. And anyway, I actually posted yesterday about the design experience so far with Sugar Shack, and it was good to have a place where, well, let me update this. So I downloaded the image, and now it's coming to a little menu that allows me to pick a custom image. And that's it. There's a way I just updated that little corner that was like overlapping weird. Yeah, so I made this mod yesterday, and it didn't take long to download the file images and then just update all the images. So here's a draft of like one potential option for how it would get out. And I want to self-play test some today, but here's what I was thinking about. Like, okay, first of all, this could be all the components. So it's 6, 7, 8, 16, 17, 25 cards, 26 cards, 27, 2 player. And probably, let's say, when I say 27, maybe there could be like 2 or 3 more buildings that we make in Calendar or something like that. So let's say 30 cards. So that's like a little more than half of the regular standard playing cards. How many cards come in? It's 52, and then usually add a few extras. I forget how many. Interesting. I don't know why YouTube. The bitrate is slow. Why? What's going on here? Not sure. Huh. Oh. I think I figured that out. Yikes. That must be why. Come on, you can do it. So, um, I think what's going on is I definitely forgot to turn my extra fan on, so my laptop was just losing it. It was saying, "No thanks, no thanks, Scott. This is not what I'm into." And so, hopefully, with some more airflow, we'll catch back up. That's so sad. Uh, anyway, okay, so I was let's see, I was working on, yeah, so updated the mod. I wonder if there's some stuff I can close. Anyway, it's not perfect having this streaming setup, but eh? Interesting. I feel like OBS is having a hard time. Where are you? Okay. So it looks like it's back up. I gotta remember that. You might hear some extra fan noise for a little while because I'm just trying to cool things down. Yeah, it's not awesome streaming with tools that are not perfect, but I think we're back. So I'm gonna rock and roll here. Um, okay, so this is a possible layout for the game. I had a few ideas that, like, just as I was setting this up, or what was I doing? Thinking through solo mode stuff. I thought I still might want to add a pawn. Well, okay, so I was thinking through components. Let's say there are 30 cards. That's super cheap to make. And if there are 30 cards, let's see, the starting cubes, I think, are something like so there's 12, 16, 21 that I've put on the cards down here. And then let's say there are, oh, let's just say 20, 25 maybe? Because I'll just have to play and see how many more I would need throughout the game. The thing is, these are going to be claimed, these are going to be claimed permanently, but it's just these two cards that are going to have cubes on them permanently. Otherwise, this one is going to have cubes, but they're going to be coming off every round. But there are going to be more cubes on these cards eventually. They're going to be coming from here, though. So the main thing is, like, what the most possible cubes that could get taken up are, let's see, there's the 4 here, plus another 6, so 10, 15. So if I had 21, then 36 is the most cubes I would ever possibly need. And there's no way that's going to be necessary. I mean, it would be just like the most extreme case, maybe. I just can't possibly imagine that happening. That would actually need 36. Okay, so there's 30 cards, 36 cubes. Probably cut it down maybe to 30. Oh, and then these little marker, these tracker cubes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 die. So components wise, that's pretty amazing. Like, it's like a minimal set of components. So that's great. And anyway, I thought to add 1 pawn because the thought is that that pawn would represent the... It would work out in 2 ways. First of all, if it's a 2-player game, it would represent the mayor actually traveling around, and it could be something like if you interact with the card where the mayor is, then there would be an added cost because you have to like stop and kind of schmooze a little bit, right? But maybe there's a big benefit. Maybe you get to pick which mayor's favorite card comes out next, or something like that. Anyway, the other way, the reason I first thought of having the pawn is because it was part of the original idea for the solo mode. That's when this was still worker placement. It's not worker placement anymore, but having a pawn to travel around and interact with buildings still makes sense. So something about the way it works is you roll a die. Here, let me actually just drop a pawn in. Okay, so here's the mayor. Let's make him huge right now. So let's say he starts... I guess he would start in community projects, right? So roll a die. Well, actually, this was the thought. It's that he moves the number of spaces equal to whatever the die is showing. Let me pull this up. Excuse me. Oh, here's a cool thing. So I've been posting about a retreat. The retreat is a little less than a month away because it's the 3rd of October that we start. It's clearly the 4th of September right now. And so I've been posting around different big groups on Facebook about the retreat. Thankfully, we're getting permission to post because a lot of these places don't like ads or promotions. And I think a key idea is that we really don't make money off of the retreat. Even if we did eventually, my thinking for it is that we treat it like a nonprofit. Maybe eventually it becomes one. Excuse me. Wow. I think that's the nerve irritation because I've never had allergies. Okay, so here's my thinking. Solo mode thoughts. So step 1, move the bot the number of spaces shown on the die. So like I would take a turn, then it would move. And let's say it moves clockwise. The pawn would move. So what I like about this is there's a preview of what's coming next. So you kind of have you kind of have the mayor's schedule, right? So he moves 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he stops at the hardware store. Excuse me. what I really like about this layout is that the 8 buildings that the mayor is actually going to really interact with are out here. But I think in the solo mode, the mayor just simply blocks a building. So I think in the solo mode, it's probably like the mayor's corrupt, right? And he's got his own shady maple syrup dealings going on. So he's cruising around town like doing his little deals, and so you're avoiding him in this case. So you couldn't well, let's say it's like this. You know this die is coming up, and so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know he's coming to the hardware store next. So what you would do on your turn probably is like, especially if you're ready for an upgrade, then you would rush to the hardware store because you know you're not going to be able to use it next turn. So I really like this small detail of moving whatever value is shown on the die at this point. In other words, another way to do this would be to roll the die at the start of the mayor's turn and then move that number so you couldn't predict. But I prefer this. I prefer having a little information. So you could run to the hardware store real quick, get an upgrade, and then get out of there before the mayor gets there. I think that sounds really cool. So, okay, so he would move. So he moves that number of spaces. He locks down that location. And then, so he moves. The bot interacts with the location it lands on, gains money or cubes, earns the mayor's favor card. So he himself, let's say, this actually I really like too. I like the simplicity here of these mayor's favor cards. So if he landed on his own card, which would be unlikely, right? Because there are 10 cards here. It's possible. It's possible. The longer it sits there, the more likely, or the more, the greater the possibility that he's going to snatch up his own card. Okay, so he interacts with this building. In this case, let's say, I don't know. I haven't thought through rules for him yet. It could be like, no matter what, he just takes a cube and adds it to his sugar shack. Maybe he just kind of piles them on. I do think wherever the building asks for things, he just takes them. Like in this case, the hardware store, I'm not sure what he would do. And I would just want it to be a super simple rule set. Okay, and then after he's done interacting, then I roll the die at the end of his turn. So I really, really like this. And what's cool, again, another really, I think, interesting detail of rolling the die at the end of his turn and then moving the number of spaces related to whatever the die says at the start of his turn, is that might discourage me. For instance, it might discourage me from going to Farland Market if I know that I would rather he moves to the location indicated by the die. If I feel like that's like the best place for him to go, then I might not want to go to Farland Market because it would have me roll the die again, and then he would check whatever that new result is. So I think that's a really, really cool little detail. And it kind of makes me want to add a die to another card. But I don't want too much randomness at this point. Like what would it be doing for another card? Anyway, so then, you know, I would take a turn and then he would move 1, 2. This is a case where he just gains money, so you'd give him some money. I would take a turn while he rolls. and then I take a turn, and then he moves 1, 2, 3. I don't think he should be able to fill in community projects. Maybe. Well, maybe, because why not? Yeah, why not? Because how often is he going to land there? So he just takes probably the cheapest. 1, 2, 3. What does he do? He pulls 2 cubes. Let's say he pulls 2 cubes off of the thing. Now he moves 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He gains, let's say 5. I roll for him. 5, so he would gain the 6 money. Actually, I think what I would do is just mark each card. If there's a choice, then I can have like a little tiny indication somehow, somewhere on the card, that this is what the mayor gets no matter what. Maybe it's just a little black dot or something like that. Or I just put a mark somewhere in the card if there's space. Oh, you know what? No, I think I just make one more card. I'm gonna I'll go and, just so I don't forget this. Let me close this. Yeah, having this fan going really, really helped. That's crazy. So I'm going to add a card here. And I'll just put it where? Oh, I can make him his own version of the Sugar Shack, potentially. Well, anyway, I think all I would do is probably... Yeah, I'm just going to clear this off anyway. Well, let me leave some text and stuff. So this doesn't need to be here. So I think I would just have a small version of all the buildings. Actually, a good way to do this would be just to move this card down. Out here. And just grab these little guys. Right? And just add them like this. So basically this would be a little table of what to do for the bot. So I could have like a harder and an easier one. So we're up to 31 cards, right? So like the harder one would be simply he just gains more money and removes more cubes. It'd be, I think, as simple as that. Yeah, I think this is cool. So the grants, because he would cover grant spaces as well. To be really easy, I think the bot could. What was the last one? The warehouse. I kind of like the idea that he doesn't do anything with the upgrades except I don't know. He So what I guess what I would do is, do I need any of these things? Probably not, right? No, I kind of want a place to pile his cubes, probably. So the mayor bot. The mayor bot. Does that sound cool? No, not that cool. So all this does is show these. So this would be what happens, or what he gets at each building. I think it'd be as simple as that. So you just look up on the table, essentially, the table, like what he gets. So it's the grant office, then he, depending, ooh, like the bot at its hardest would be like, what was I just thinking? So the at the warehouse, for instance, like the bot on hard mode would take the barrel first, and then they community projects too. Would take the barrel and then would take. I don't think it could do anything at the hardware store. Take the barrel and then it would take the bottle. And what makes that hard is, of course, then he's taking the more lucrative item before you get to it. The same would be true about if he gets to claim community projects, then on hard mode, he would take the cheap community projects first. On easy mode, he would take the expensive ones first to go backwards. So I think that's a really great, like very, very easy, very simple like super simple system. I think that's what you want when you're playing. Like you're interacting, you're finding the intersections, you're finding the moments of interaction that you would normally have with other players, and just making them really simple to administer to execute, right? So that's sort of the goal with solo modes, I believe. It's, you don't have to take turns as if they're players, but the bot should produce tension in really tangible ways, in the ways that another player would create tension. So the bot can like race to things and get things done that you want to, as a player, that you'd like to get to, but sorry, the bot got there first. Anyway, this would be super easy to just set out and play with. And it's perfect because it's just another card, right? And so you could do easy and hard. Well, I'll just do this later. So those are some thoughts that I had after I set up this mod. But okay, so then I jumped in and started just like making very minor decisions that I would start thinking through at the start of a game. So I have, let's say this is the starting situation. I gave 2 cubes to the first player, 3 cubes to the second player. Of course, dealing with first player advantage, or trying to, seeing how that would work. The other way I could tune it is that the players could start with different amounts of money. But here's what I noticed, and this suddenly, like, this was like an instant broken um uh an obviously or apparently broken item from the very beginning. So what I noticed is, well, the way that these are organized, um, the way that these are organized is like I have the 1 cube cost buildings right here up front, and then all the other buildings in the second tier, in the second row. Their position doesn't matter. It just kind of helps the players understand the relative cost, I think. So what I noticed like right away was that I have, if I go to Closterby Market, I just gain 3 money. That's all it is. Before, I actually, it made sense. I think I simplified this as I was building this mod yesterday, so it was after the stream. I simplified it because who needs to draw cards? Like, that didn't seem that interesting ultimately. Before, the idea was that you visit Closterby Market and then you draw from a deck of customer cards. But I don't think we need that anymore. And it cuts down on cards as well, because it would have been just like 6 extra cards that didn't really do much, and you wouldn't really interact with that little deck very often. So I just made a fixed payout of 3 money. Okay, so it's 1 cube for 3 money, and then I also saw that there is 1 cube that costs 3 money. So I spend a cube, pay 3 money, and gain a cube to my pool for next round. So that's those are the 2 kind of tier 1 cards, because they are 1 cost cards. Because I spend a cube of syrup at either one, and those are the benefits I get. Well, then I looked around town and I noticed the town park. So the town park costs 2 cubes to activate, and then I get to choose either any 2 of these 3 options. So I gain 4 money. Trash a cube, which actually means that it goes to the grant office, and so you're closer to gaining an upgrade. That's why it's useful. It might feel like a waste, but it's actually not, because it's getting you closer to a really, really powerful upgrade. And you still get a little money for it, which is nice. And then the other option here is to gain a cube to your pool for next turn. So in other words, I spend 1 cube here to gain 3 money. I spend 1 cube here to lose 3 money and gain a cube. Or I spend 2 cubes to gain a cube and gain a bunch of money. So there's no true choice here. The town park is clearly superior, right? So that's obviously a problem from the very beginning. Like, I don't know why I didn't notice that. I don't know why that wasn't obvious to me. But that is the case. So I have to figure out what to do with this problem. I guess just realizing that spending 1 cube like the way that it the way the structure of the game worked before is there was a kind of travel that you had to do. So you could activate a tier 1 building and then tier 2, and you had to choose between all the options in tier 1 and tier 2. Okay? So it's possible that I need to bring back travel. I don't want to. I like the simplicity of the system here. As in, if you see a card, it looks good, and you can afford it in terms of playing cubes, then you should be able to pay the cubes to activate it. That sounds really good. It sounds very simple. But it means I just need to reimagine the town park or replace the town park. So that's okay. So anyway, I spent some time trying to think of, well, what would I want to be able to do that I cannot do? Right? What does a player want? What are the kinds of things they want to do and they'd be willing to pay something for? There might be trade-offs. But what is something they really want to do? Because I'm looking for other options, right? I'm looking for other options for the town park. So one could be that filling, like the bottling is free this turn. But right now, bottling is only 2, so who cares, right? Another thing is that you could reduce the cost of filling to like 0, maybe to add to this third spot. It's 0, but that's effectively just a slower version. No, it's the same thing as this, because you just gain a cube and for next turn and put it here in the pool, but then adding 1 here is also gaining a cube. It's just not coming from here, it's coming from here. It's not coming from there, it's coming from there. And they're both converging at the same time anyway, so it literally is not different at all. So that doesn't work. The thing is, I haven't really sorted out what am I really going to want to do. Like, I have no reason to hang on to cubes. I need to spend them all, probably, or I will generally want to spend most of them on my turn. Most, if not all. Yeah, the thing is, if I can literally activate any building anywhere, as long as I have the cubes, then as things are now, the town park, I have to go to the town park because it's the most value. Right? Because if I spend 2 cubes here, I net 0 money and I only gain 1 cube. Whereas here, I gain a cube and net 4 money. So that's no good. So this was 2 cubes for 0 money and 1. I spend 2 cubes for 0 money and 1 cube, or I spend 2 cubes. I spend 2 cubes for a cube and for 4 money. So I have to go to the town park. Otherwise, I'm an idiot, right? So that's why the town park needs to be different. Now I could add a die to the town park. What would I want to do with the town park? Oh. Like I just said, I thought adding another card, adding a rolling requirement for another card could be cool, except I don't want a lot of randomness. But here, what if it was 2 cubes? What if you didn't know what you were going to get out of the town park? I don't like it. I really don't. I don't like the feelings I have as I'm rolling dice if I want something specific. If it's all good, then it kind of doesn't matter, right? But when I'm in the situation where I really want one result, I hate rolling dice. I kind of like. Um, I think there's maybe some possibility of um, like what if wow, I'm kind of sweating again. What if I choose to either take, let's say, hmm, well, if I roll, some of the different things I could get are like 1 cube right now, which is cool, except hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I don't really like how this building. Like, why would it cost me money? Like, what's the point of. Hmm. What's the point of paying 3 so that you can have a cube added to your pool? Yeah, I don't really like that. Um, See, this is why it's important to actually playtest things. Because everything sounds good in theory, but does it actually work? um, so I might want to put a cube in my pool. Um, because I know next turn I'm I might want to do it because next turn I know I'm going to have a really weak... No, see, no, because I took away the evaporation step. So what I used to have, if you look at this card, there was another So there was another... This is actually one reason to bring the evaporation step back. It's because you can anticipate you have information about the cubes you're going to have for next turn, and that number is not something you can do about in the Sugar Shack. It's not something you can do anything about in the Sugar Shack. And so this is a reason you might want to add a cube like this, right? It's because you know that next turn you're going to have I wonder where all of this, like where these spam bots come from on Twitch. Because I get a message like this almost every stream. Cheap viewers on Streamboo. Like, what's up with that? So this becomes a lot more relevant when I know that I'm going to have a really weak turn, right? Yeah, I wonder if this is the town park rolling, yeah, and rolling a die. If it if all the options are good, what if you could pick one and roll for the other? How about that? Would that be satisfying? Pick one, roll for the other. I feel like that might not be too bad, right? Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, because oh, another question. Oh, because each time I add cubes like this, they're probably coming from the supply, not from the sugar bush. That's something to clarify for sure. excuse me. There aren't many ways of actually ditching cubes anymore. So the grant office is actually going to be pretty hard to... The only way to do it, the most efficient way to do it, is by skipping the catch step or the bottling step. So either all of your cubes get trashed, right? Yeah, because the only other way to discard cubes right now is Farland Market, Town Park. So this is the best option right now in Town Park. I mean, as in, it's what makes the Town Park helpful. It's weird though that huh. Hmm. Yeah, there's just not much. I don't know. Again, what else would I want to be able to do? Because rolling a die sounds fine. I don't know. I'm not getting inspired really. I also don't want it to be something kind of difficult to describe. What I was thinking is you could say something like, well, activate another building right now, but that'd be really hard to show in icons. Hmm. Another thing I just realized is these cards don't all need to have a cost. Um, no, they do because I want to mark the card with a cube so that the player remembers that they can only that's a location they've activated, so they can't activate it again on their turn. Like this turn. So that's why every card has a cube, at least one cube shown on it. Hmm. Yeah, I don't think Town Park should offer this. Hmm. Maybe, maybe the Town Park should be something like what if oh, see, I came back and I reduced this already because it was a problem. What if they're all something related to... Oh. Just get rid of this now. What if they're all related to spending, right? What if it's something like this? Because this is different, right? Because it lets you add to the grant office. So that's why this could actually be kind of cool. I don't think it should be 2 cubes to activate now because it's going to cost an extra one. So maybe, what should this be? So it's different now. At least it's different. Just choose one. That seems a little bit sad. But what else could I want for... Because I guess it could be just straight money, but I don't really like that. I kind of like that this is now helping with the grant office stuff. And if it's choose any 2, I guess it would be choose 1, right? Because I don't think... It doesn't seem worth it now to... It doesn't seem worth it to discard 3 cubes to make this happen. Oh, what if I choose up to 2? Choose up to 2. So this is different now. So that is more interesting. So what would I want here? Because I could ditch 3 cubes to the grant office and get this stuff, but it's not... how do I evaluate this? I feel like this is where I I kind of lose an edge. I feel like some developers, some designers have this kind of mathematical capability to evaluate this exact type of situation. So, like, the question is, what is a cube worth? What is a cube worth? So if I have to spend one to activate this card, then I spend one and I trash one. Okay, that gives me a cube for next round. Do I like that idea? Not really, because what's the benefit? Why not? It is going to make my next round stronger. And it lets me boost my add to the number of cubes of the grant office. So there is a benefit there. Choose up to 2. So I still don't have an idea for this third one. Yeah. So it could be that, like, I haven't committed to this idea yet, but there is a possibility that I add the mayor to this the 2-player game. And if I do, then all of a sudden I have another thing that a player might want to manipulate. So that's why this is interesting. So, what I don't have is I don't have much in the way of, like, you know, some games have the ability to take the first player token or something like that. So that's a possibility here. Earning the first player token. Removing the mayor. Right? So why might I want to move the mayor? Well, one reason could be that it seems really powerful, but you could pick the next mayor's favor card that comes out. That just seems crazy, though. That seems like way too much. I would think anyway. It's the sun is starting to brighten up outside. Oh, that was another thing I wanted to add was these stars. This doesn't need to be here because there's only one side. But it should be on. It should be on the. Yeah, this doesn't need to be here. Like, why would you want to move the mayor? What do you get for interacting with the mayor? Is the question. It would be kind of cool if you could pick the next card, but that just seems really strong. Especially for like a 1 cost. For the 1 cost town park. But picking the next card seems like too much. But moving the mayor. Why would you want to do that? So right now the only ideas I have for the mayor are that you pay an extra cube to activate the space. But to what benefit? There's no benefit. It's just an added cost. I don't like that. Ooh, you could move the mayor. Huh. Moving the mayor. It's an idea. I'm gonna mess with it for a little bit. Pawn. Meatball. No way. Interesting. Game meatball? This is not bad for now. Or just do it, just make it a meatball. So this is the ability to reposition the mayor. Okay, I don't really like adding to what players need to do to run the game. But this could be interesting. Yeah, not sure I love adding this new system. Because what does the mayor do? Does he just block stuff? So this could be kind of a worker placement thing. Yeah, I don't know. It might be trying to do too much. Nice idea though. Yeah, I don't really like it. Um, it's kind of tough having just these two currencies, cubes and money. Um, what was it before? Like action tokens were kind of cool because it meant that there was a third currency that you could build stuff around. Um, but now being limited to money or cubes, it feels like I'm kind of out of ideas here. What if you add what if you could add to the gift shop? That'd be random, but it might be cool. I'm very tempted by this mayor idea, but let me see what this looks like. So, let me make some adjustments here. Group these and make them tiny. I mean, this is now suddenly kind of cool. Oops. So this is a kind of it'd be expensive, but it could be cool because it becomes an opportunity for combos. And combos feel good. So I kind of like it. Hmm. So in other words, what would happen is you could choose now. I think I need to add this in a really, really, really small version. So you could, this is kind of cool. So now what you can do is you can choose up to 2. So this is really all about the grant office now. You gain 2 money, gain a cube for next round, or place a cube, or trash a cube to place a cube in the gift shop. In other words, this one would costs 1 to trash a cube and gain a cube for next turn. It costs 1 to trash a cube and gain I don't know. I think it's worth testing. The main thing is the card was clearly a problem over here. It's less clear as a problem now. So that's great. So I'm going to download this and then it's a little weird. I feel like I don't know why they do this, but you can't download to a specific folder. Like you don't get to pick the folder. I think Vivaldi just kind of does it. And I know I don't want Vivaldi just dropping. I don't want Vivaldi dropping everything into a specific folder, but I would like, as I'm downloading specific things from Canva, okay, it's a little annoying that that's off center. Why did I do that? Okay, that's not bad. So the reason it's powerful is that you get to build up cubes in the grant office. That's the concept there. Because there are so few options for doing that now. Now it doesn't feel... I'm still not too sure about this right here. The 3 money for a cube for next turn. I'm not thrilled about that, but if you really need it, yeah, I actually screwed up a post I made for Board Game Design Lab yesterday. I made it a personal post, and then I just shifted, and then I shared that personal post to BGDL, but then I just copied the text from the personal post. So now it's just double. So it's exactly the same set of paragraphs, but twice. Okay, so let me take a few turns. I'm just gonna click through a few turns, see if I start seeing any ideas or obvious openings. That's something I want to avoid. I don't mind if people over time develop like patterns with their openings, but I don't want one clear, like obvious opening set of opening moves. I don't mind if there are like 2 or 3 sets of opening moves. I feel like that with Lost Ruins of Arnak actually. It feels like you're either kind of focusing on moving up the research track, which means you're likely to get a ruby on your first turn, something like that. You're interested in discovering dig sites, so you would do compasses, or there's a card you really want. There's an item you really want, so you might do gold coins. So I feel like there are kind of 3 main ideas to pursue in Lost Ruins of Arnak. And for me, that's fine. Like, that seems good. So this is Jesse. Jesse's kind of on another level with like thinking through this game, this word game we've been playing. Okay, I'm gonna take a few turns, and then I think I'll be done for today. It's about an hour and a half, and it's only 6:30 my time, so I might actually sleep a little bit more. I think I was awake around 3:30. I slept around 10:30. Was awake around 3:30, and I'd be happy to. I'll probably crash for some more sleep time at some point. Okay, just gonna do it. So this is the first player. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try this town park thing. Ditch a cube. Who am I? The red player. Ditch a cube there to gain. Let's just do gain 2 money. I'm gonna lock these down for now. No, actually, I'll gain a cube from the supply. Let's do that instead. Okay, now I run the sugar shack, so these move over. And then I'm gonna spend what? What's the cost here again? Oh, if I gained 2 money, then I could have filled. So to do that, I could have filled this whole thing. Let's see how this works. Okay, now I have 3 cubes to work with. So I think these get cleared off. They just go to the supply, right? What did I do? So I have 1 and then trashed 1 to gain 1 for next turn. Okay, I think Is it now suddenly obvious that, see, with the warehouse being here, it shuts down being able to claim claim that placement spot. I really want to start generating money though. That's what I want. That's what this bot wants. So I'll take 3 money. Or no, that's what that's what this avatar wants. Like, why would I do this? Because that's gonna cost 3 cubes to get 6 money. That's not, that doesn't work. I think I'm gonna change that right now. So you know what, maybe these costs are just outlandish as far as cubes. I think maybe the bank is fine, but this is not fine. Maybe if it was a lot more money, maybe it was like 6 and 8. Three cubes. So that's 3 cubes for 2 money, or the potential for what would 8 divided by 3. What in the world is 8 divided by 3? $60 is 2.3? 2.6. Now, if I got, yeah, I think if this is 6, it's different. And if this is 8. Because then there is a risk here. The other thing is that if it's 4 cubes and you could potentially get 16, then that's 4 per cube, and that's certainly a better deal than the closer B market, and that's the point. So I'm okay with that for now. But the thing is, this is not a better deal. This is not a better deal for closer B market if it's 3 cubes for 2 money each. The difference is that you're still increasing the number of cubes you get in the grant office. So 4 cubes for 12 with the possibility of 4 cubes for 16 is a better deal. It's slightly better, but it is a whole turn too. So this might not be enough. 6 and 9. 6 and 9. Is it enough to want to spend on your whole turn, though? That's the question. But anyway, getting 9 money at once for the following turn also seems like a big deal. So just the fact that you're going to have that spending money is probably pretty good. Because this is also one upgrade, right? That's the value of an upgrade. Okay, I like this better now. I like this better. What were the values before? 5 and 6. Yeah, 6 and 8 is a lot better. It's crazy, this stuff that stands out just with like a little bit of self-play testing. And this is why, like, when I joined you know what? I can join. I'm gonna be tired, but I can do it. Should I do it? I'm gonna try see if I should join. What's this? Should I do it? I'm gonna be tired, but I really want to get this play tested by somebody else. And I think I have something that works here. Did I just download that? I did. Okay, so I'm gonna make some more coffee. I'm gonna make some more coffee, and then I think I'm gonna join. So I'll be able to play test one game probably. I don't know that I'll have the energy to play test another one and run my game. It actually would be kind of fun to stream while I do this, but I don't know. Is that a good idea? Okay, is that reset? Let me just do this. Okay, I think that's it for me for today. Not really looking forward to this, but I think it'll be good. I don't have a sub job today, so I can spend. I feel good about making progress on this game. I think this is potentially my most pitchable game right now, and so this is the highest. The highest chance of getting published, of effectively becoming passive income for me. So that's kind of what I'm working toward as I'm doing these things. Is building things that people value, that people can enjoy, build memories around. I love that. That's why I plan events. That's why I'm designing these games, and in the process, trying to establish some sustainability for myself so I can do this kind of thing full time. So it's just been really fun to work on this kind of thing. Anyway, again, thanks for joining today, and hope you have a good one, and I will see you soon.